What's up, you guys? It's Rob here. Today I'm going to be going over ticker symbol NNDM in anticipation for Monday's trading day, April the 19th. I'm going to cover the short interest. I'm also going to cover a news article that I think is actually pretty interesting with nano dimensions. And then we'll also cover it on the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame within Webull and give a prediction of roughly what we might see for nano dimensions on Monday. I'll give my bullish and bearish outlook because I want to play both sides of it within the stock. But the huge thing I want you guys to do for me, if you can real quickly, is hit the like button on this video, along with hitting that subscribe button and ringing that bell. Really, when you do those three things for me, it helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm. It helps get these videos out to more people. So if you do that, greatly appreciate it. And thank you guys so much for your support this far. Like, I cannot believe the growth that I've seen out of my channel so far, and I cannot wait to continue growing here on YouTube. But let's go ahead and dive in here. I want to hop in the Ortex really quickly because the two things that I want to highlight really quickly are the fact that Cathie Wood actually bought 680,000 more shares of Nano Dimensions. So Cathie Wood already had a position within Nano Dimensions before, and she essentially doubled down and said, give me another 680,000 shares, because we're starting to see a lot of articles like this. After an overdone pullback, it's time for Nano Dimension. It's time to jump on Nano Dimension stock. And there's apparently a lot of people within the media that are starting to say that, okay, we've had our pullback and everything like that. We've pulled back too far, kind of thing. Now it's to the point where some of these stocks are very undervalued. And would I say Nano Dimensions is very undervalued right now? Yes, I would say Nano Dimensions is very undervalued. From their PE ratio and their price to sales ratio and all that kind of stuff, a lot of people are going to say they're extremely overvalued, but the fact is Nano Dimensions is a growth company, and I'm not playing this as a short-term play. I'm playing this as a long-term play kind of thing. So that was the two things that I wanted to highlight. The other interesting thing I want to highlight down here is, I don't know how well you guys can see this, but on March 12th, there was a in Ortex, there's what's called a short squeeze. The direction is a buy direction, and it's available within 4 days, and the mean return is 52.41. So I don't know if Nano Dimensions might be in the position for a short squeeze kind of thing, but it definitely kind of sent a little flag up in my head. But overall, the short interest for Nano Dimensions is 5.9%. The current short interest is 14.57 million, which is less than what was actually reported on March 31st of 16.37 million. So that is, the short interest has decreased. However, though, if we do take a look, the utilization is 100% here on Nano Dimensions, which is the short share availability. There's no more shorts that are available unless if someone says, okay, sure, I'll give you some shares kind of thing that you can short. But the other thing to take a look at is the cost to borrow is sitting at 2.25. 7 days ago was at 2.19, which is kind of indicative of the short position being dramatically increased within Nano Dimensions. And then if we take a look here, the shares on loan are sitting at 13.98 million, and 15 days ago that was at 15.24. And then the days to cover is at 0.51. So about half a day with no other volume, the shorts would be able to cover their position. So the huge thing that this kind of says here to me is that Nano Dimensions has a lot of short interest within it. Yeah, it's not a lot of the free float, but the fact that 100% of the utilization is there and hasn't been used yet tells me that there's a lot of shares that are out there that haven't been used yet, which explains the whole reason why, if we hop over here to the Webull and take a look at Nano Dimensions on the daily time frame and take a look at it from more of a macro perspective over the month, you can see Nano Dimensions has really just been beat down. And then on Thursday, we actually had pretty much an all red day, which is really huge because it drove the price sub $7, which is not really a good area for the stock to be. But let's go back here and cover more of a micro perspective. So we did hit 669 here on Nano Dimensions, and then we hit our intraday high of 733, which is good. So what this means is intraday we did make higher lows kind of thing. So when we did have our pullbacks, it wasn't to the point that we were headed in a there's a stupid fly in here. We weren't headed in a bearish direction. We were definitely headed within a very bullish direction. The huge thing though is when I take a look at these moves, the MACD is severely overextended in multiple points of it. Towards the end of the day, it seems better, but really it is severely overextended. And it just shows there's volatility within the stock. So if we come out here to the 5-day time frame, the last time I covered Nano Dimensions, I kind of drew up this trend line and was hoping that we would have a reversal, but we definitely had it, and then we broke back down to the downside. Now, keep in mind, with the short interest being really high, this might explain part of the reason, because if we take a look here at the MACD, this is a severely overextended MACD here on Thursday, and we were oversold essentially the whole entire morning. So that is a very heavy indicator to me that this was definitely a short wave that came through and pushed the price down this strong. Now, some people might say that this is institutions pushing down the price so that they can get in a long position for a cheaper price. I personally don't believe that. But if we do take a look here at the MACD on the 5-day, 5-minute time frame, it is below the signal down here, which is a very bearish indicator. So not the best thing. We have been headed in a general overall downwards trend, so it doesn't surprise me. We do see the RSI sitting here at 44.30, so we're sitting below neutral. And if we hop out here to the 1-month time frame, we can just confirm that we have been in this downwards trend for the past month, which is a reason why a lot of these articles are now saying that it's time to hop in the Nano Dimensions, because the stock has been severely beat down and is primed and ready for a bounce back. And even looking at the short interest, I think it's even more primed and ready for a bounce back. But if we take a look here at the RSI on the month time frame, it's sitting at 48.29, and you can see how overextended we are for these past 2 days are on the MACD. The huge thing though is, from a macro perspective, we do have this crossover of the RSI and the signal headed back towards the equilibrium, which is a bullish indicator for the stock. Now keep in mind, we've pretty much evened off down here with these two indicators, so they might run parallel to the equilibrium for a little bit, or they might tick to the upside. But considering how heavy that the stock has been beat down from the past month, if you take a look at it, it's huge. The stock has been beat down a lot, and it has a heavy short interest in it. So we have to keep that in mind. And personally, with the greater market correction and all that kind of stuff, it's got to end at some point, and I think we're going to start seeing it end here within the next week or two, and we'll start seeing a trend reversal. Now, there might be some sort of news catalyst that comes out that might just completely throw that out the window from a technical perspective, but I think we've honestly found our bottom here, because if we go out to the year chart, you can tell that we have been here before. But the only time that we were here before was all the way back in essentially March of this year, and we had a nice bounce back. So we are ready to make that move back to the upside. So I think that's what I'm personally going to be looking at for Nano Dimensions, is to make that move back to the upside and make a bullish transit, make a bullish move on this 1-month chart. Hopefully tomorrow, what we can do is we can get ourselves up to $8 and get ourselves back within this trading channel, so we can be in a bullish direction versus a bearish direction. That's personally what I see with Nano Dimensions. But if you guys have any comments or anything like that, drop them down in the comment section below and let me know what your thoughts are. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.